Hello, and welcome back to your favorite podcast today, Wild Thoughts, and I am your host, The Big Bang. Yes, guys, this is Wild Thoughts with your host, The Big Bang. And welcome back to another great adventure that we are going on today. Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's getting good, guys. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the subscribing. Thanks for everything that all the listeners are doing. If you're enjoying what you're hearing constantly, then, don't forget to leave a nice little comment in the comment section above. Don't forget to leave any type of comment you want, even bad ones. I'm okay with that. But today, I just want to go over a few things. Yes, few big things, actually. Things that I expect and know will happen to and for this knowledge drip. So I was talking with one of my good friends. He came over for a while, and he was hanging out at my place, and we were talking, and we wrote down some good shit and whatnot. So, you know what? He said my podcast the knowledge drip needed a theme, and I was like, the knowledge drip already has a theme. It's the knowledge drip with the wild thoughts. I don't know about you, but that's pretty fucking big right there. Just to even start doing something like this, it's easy. The only reason it's easy is because only like 9% of the human population are doing podcasts. Most people I talk to don't even know what a goddamn podcast is. So, I introduced them to my knowledge drip, just like you, the listeners that are listening today, and all the other listeners out there. Man, so you guys know that the knowledge drip is a real thing, and that this is just getting bigger and bigger. Luckily for you guys, thanks to this podcast, thanks to everything that has happened. Let me just take a quick sip of this water. Everything that has happened. Sorry, I'm drinking some water. I'm not sorry at all. I'm not sorry for drinking water at all. Don't feel bad at all. But there's some big things happening in today's world of this knowledge drip. First things first, guys. I am getting a studio. What? Yes, go ahead. Yep, clap that shit up. I'm getting a studio for this podcast. I expect it to be great. I expect it to be big. I expect it to be filled with love and hope. And on top of that, I am going to get a camera. I am going to record it. We're probably going to get off Podbean, just because mostly Podbean's really hard to use, and I'm not that tech smart. So if anybody out there wants to be a part of Wild Thoughts, and they want to just do the tech part, guess what? You're more than welcome. Position is open. Go ahead and apply. If you want to apply, send me an email at reflife32@gmail.com with your resume, and we'll go over all that shit. Of course, I'm looking for someone that's really good at technical stuff, someone that can build websites, someone that can do the social media stuff, someone that can just listen to me fucking rant and rave about whatever the fuck I'm talking about, whatever crazy shit that's going on in my world. And that way we can have a good old time, all right? So if you feel like you have the ability or the knowledge to drip to me on that, the best leaders, they say, are the best delegators. They find people smarter than them, right? That's what they say. They say you got to go out there, you got to find someone smarter than you. So guess what? I'm not that smart at the technology part of this, but I am pretty smart when it comes to the knowledge drip part of it. So, I can do the knowledge drip. I can record it. That shit's real easy. But, it's time for me to start spreading the wealth around. We're getting a little more money. People are starting to pay for this podcast. People are donating through the show, and it's just getting great. So, yep, that's because also people have been going to my website, and they have been loving the Blister toothpaste. If you want to get yourself some Blister toothpaste, now this is not a goddamn advertisement like I'm getting paid for. This is just on my website. If you have a goddamn phone, if you got a goddamn cell phone, computer, iPad, whatever type of cell phone that you got in these days, just know that you can too go to my website and buy stuff. The website is www.amway.com/fly-high. Go ahead and get yourself some great little toothpaste. Keep your mouth clean, bitches. Also, that's all I got for that sponsor today. Also, man, I have been writing a ton of shit, and today I came up with a new word, and it's called furbancE. Now, you're probably wondering, like, that's probably already a word, Big Bang, like furbancE or whatever. No, this word is furbancE. How do you spell furbancE?
To improve focus.
Hold on. That was weird. Okay, anyways. What was I saying? Fuck, I forgot. Oh yeah, furbancE. I came up with a new word, furbancE. And furbancE in the definition is spelled F-U-R-B-A-N-C-E. And the E is super pronounced. So it's furbancE, like furbancE, because of the E. And what that means is the furbancE of peace and democratic furbancE. That's not what it means. I don't even know what it means yet, just because I made it up and I haven't like memorized it. So because I have yet to memorize it, I am going to read it, what I wrote down. So a furbancE is a state of mind that forbids any advancement towards your physical and actual success. All right, let me read what that says one more time to you, just so that you understand. It is furbancE, a state of mind that forbids any advancement towards your physical and actual success. Now, you're probably thinking, Big Bang, what the hell does that mean? What do you mean a state of mind that forbids any advancement towards your physical and actual success? Well, let me tell you a little story about why this word means a lot. Because today I'm working at the zoo, as you guys know that, this Central Florida Zoo. Just working there for a little bit, trying to get some more money flowing into this podcast so that we can start building up our studio, which we expect to be great because it will go on YouTube, of course. So, but I was thinking, why am I feeling furbanced? Why am I feeling furbanced? Everybody out here is making me feel furbanced. And then I came up with it. And then I said this. I have resentment. The resentment towards myself. The resentment I feel is not aimed at one person that is outside of my control. The resentment that I had today is aimed at myself for allowing someone to control kind of my actions. You even have to ask to pee. All right? You got to ask to pee. What the fuck is this shit? Fucking grade school? I don't even understand. So, the resentment is aimed. Sorry, that part was a tangent. Let me start over. No tangents in the middle of it this time. That way you can get the whole thing. I have resentment. The resentment toward myself. The resentment I feel is not aimed at one person that is outside of my control. The resentment is aimed at myself for allowing someone to control my actions for $9 an hour. Ugh. The thought of lack of money comes to me. Without the slave in competition that grade school has brought to me, I know now that the resentment is towards myself, and I dictate to my brain I can now know that my problem stems from. That my problem cannot stem from anyone else. It is me. It is I. Call me the captain of my fate. Now I have to do what makes me happy, and it is telling myself what to do. I cannot accept anything less than my own desires. Big bang. Okay, that's what I came up with today. I wrote that shit down because I was like working at the zoo, just like it said, $9 an hour. You got to ask the fucking pee. It's ridiculous. Whew, so now I'm going to go over some more resentment with you guys today. Resentment this resentment knowledge drip might wake your ass up if you are one of those people that do resent a lot. All right. Now, remember when I say God, okay, when I say God in a sense of, or like when I'm reading something, or I'm reading something and then I'm talking and saying it to all the great listeners of Wild Thoughts, thank you. I want you to remember that when I say God or anything like that, that I am talking about yourself. Yourself as a God, or yourself as whatever. But, you can think of God however you want. I shouldn't tell you what to think or what I think. I should just say it, right? Because I have to tell you what I think, because now I think differently. That feels real fucked up that I even have to say that shit. That I'm like, I think better than everyone else. Fuck that. Just let everybody know I'm not better than anyone. I'm just a normal fucking guy that likes to do shit. All right? Sometimes I take shits and sometimes I piss. No problems. All right. So here's something on resentment. If resentment is your problem, you are right. Resentment can be a real problem. It not only makes you unhappy, but it can also make you ill. Physicians' tests indicate that resentment is often a pronounced factor in illnesses. As one doctor said, he could be a well man if he got hate out of his heart. The first step in eliminating resentment is to stop deluding yourself that your resentment is justified. Perhaps you have plenty of reasons to be hurt, but resentment is never justified. In the last analysis, resentment, you will do more damage if you keep it up than any hurt you are now experiencing. Work with yourself until you truly and with all your heart want to let go of your resentment. Sometimes the sadistic element in human nature nurses a resentment with secret unhappy pleasure. Even as you bite down on a painful tooth, want mental health so completely that you also want to be rid of your resentment. You got to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself if your resentment is caused by a feeling of guilt for your own failures, which you have refused to admit and are rationalizing, thus blaming other people through an active resentment for your own deficiencies. All right, that part right there that I just read to you is the part that I was talking about when I wrote down my resentment. That's why I was writing down my resentments anyways, just because it makes sense to have that. It just makes sense that why was I angry at somebody for not allowing me to go to the bathroom? I was not angry at them, even though my actions and my thoughts might have been towards anger towards them, but the resentment was within myself for allowing someone to tell me what to do. It was ridiculous. All right, tangent over. Back to the reading. Pray it out. Just start praying and keep it until you feel the resentment pass away. One man told me that he had to pray 167 prayers before his resentment was dissolved. But it passed, never to return. Perhaps this is why the Bible says, prayer without ceasing. The process is a simple one. The heart and soul are so filled with prayers that there is no room left for resentment. Your prayers channel in the grace of Jesus Christ, which makes you clean inwardly. One of the first prayers to offer is for the grace to pray for the person against whom your resentment is directed. This is important, for at the beginning of this process, you may feel it hypocritical to pray for him or her or zim, zor, she, whatever else, fucking weird, whatever you are, okay? But if you pray for the grace to do so, you will be lifted to a new level of spiritual understanding and strength. On the higher level, you have more greatness than before, and then you can pray with sincerity. Definitely, wholeheartedly, humbly, and sincerely pray, mentioning the name of the one you resent. But do not simply ask that you may forgive him. Pray for positive blessings to come to him. Send out a spiritual wish that he may experience a fullness and richness of life Be very careful not to pray for his improvement, for in so doing, you may merely be criticizing him under the guise of holiness. Now let's go back to that one part right there. Mentioning the name of the one you resent, but do not simply ask that you may forgive him. Pray for positive blessings to come to him. Now, when I read that right there, positive blessings to come to him, and then I read that other part over here where it says, you're active for your resentments, not their resentments, your resentment. So when I read that part, I hear pray for yourself. Pray for, yourself. You don't need to be praying for other people. If someone can't pray for themselves, then you're not doing any good praying for them. Just like the resentment that you feel is on them and not the resentment is on you and not on them. Therefore, you should, when you pray about yourself. You don't have to pray for other people. I've never understood praying for other people. I can't do much. My prayers don't do much. My thoughts could do something. I guess I could go out there and earn money. But at the same time, selfishness is what most people like in this world. And that's what most people are. Most people are selfish. Most people think they're the fucking shit. Think they're fucking badass or whatever. But most of us are just all the same. Like, I don't know very many people different from me. Like, I really don't. Like, they could all do what I do, but, some people choose to do other things, and we all choose to do different things because there's 8 billion of us. I don't know. Maybe there's 10 billion now. Who's fucking counting? I don't know. But there's a lot of people in this world, and, we're all growing up, and, it's all good. So start thinking kindly thoughts about this person and look for opportunities to express kindly sentiments concerning him. Give him an opportunity to do you a favor. There is a curious law in human nature that we tend to like persons for whom we render a service provided sincere appreciation is shown and a desire to reciprocate. I heard of 2 neighbors who were hostile. Something went wrong with the furnace of one. Grudgingly, he called upon his belligerent neighbor for assistance, for the latter was a furnace expert. This gave the neighbor an opportunity to show his ability and at the same time to feel others' dependency. The man was an excellent gardener. As summer came, vegetables repaid the kindness, friendship followed. Develop the habit of looking for people's good points. Everybody has them. Everybody has good points, and it's hard to look for most of the time. But if you just open your mind just a little bit, you might be able to find it. Okay, well, guys, we've been in here 18 minutes, and that's pretty good. And I didn't even get into any of my affirmations, actually, yet. I was going to get in some great affirmations today, but, we're already at the 18-minute mark, so fuck it. I'm going to, do it later, because I got to get my studio together. I got to get those bomb tracks flowing for you little bitch ass. But, I do got something else right here that I would like to share with you before I do go. Today, I would like to share with you some ideas of leadership, initiative, and leadership, actually. So, having chosen a definite chief aim as my life work, I now understand it to be my duty to transform this purpose into reality. Doing some one definite thing each day that ought to be done without anyone telling me to do it. Looking around until I find at least one thing I can do each day that I have not been in the habit of doing, and that will be of value to others without expectation of pay. Telling at least one other person each day of the value of practicing this habit of doing something that ought to be done without being told to do it. Now, that's kind of funny. That is like the initiative and leadership definition right there. I really like that one. Telling at least one other person each day of the value of practicing this habit of doing something that ought to be done without being told to do it. All right. Now, this podcast today might have seemed like it was all over the place. It might have seemed like you guys were like, whoa, like he's like really just talking some crazy nonsense right now. But you know what? as Alan Watts would say, Alan Watts, great physicist, and he would talk about things, and I listened to him. And now I listen to him, as Alan Watts would say, there is nothingness in nothing. All right, so remember that. There is nothingness in nothing, and the only reason there is nothingness in nothing is because nothingness would be nothing. Therefore, if you're not doing the podcast, if you're not like just chilling and trying your best at everything you do, then guess what? You ain't doing shit, motherfucker. You little bitch ass nigga. So, if you're even in the race, in any type of race at all, your chances of winning go up a lot more than everybody that decided not to take the fucking race. All right, just remember that. If they did not jump into the race and they want to tell you how to do it, fuck them. They're not in the race. They're watching from the sidelines. Some of them aren't even watching from the sidelines. Some of them are at home worrying about their ingrown toenails because they got to work fucking 60 hours a week at a shitty job that they hate. But not the people that listen to Wild Thoughts. Not the people that like the Big Bang. We understand that our lives are important and we work fast and we work hard, but we don't spend 80 hours a week there. We spend maybe 20 just to, do a little something different, loosen up our body. You know what I'm saying? We don't spend doing one thing for 60, 80 hours. We get it. There's a lot of things to be seen. So just to even begin to think about not having what you need to have is out of my mind. Whew. Well, guys, I don't know how much women, you beautiful women, beautiful men out there, you beautiful trees, whatever you are, I don't know how much memory is on my phone, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end Wild Thoughts now for today. And then tomorrow, we'll get back into some more shit, and we're going to live life to our fullest and uncontemporary beings. Now remember, as human becomings, we all have one, but the knowledge drip that is two is equal to Wild Thoughts. And this is your host, the Big Bang. Bye.